the most controversial game on Steam by Pirate Software.
So what they've done is they've made a clicker game that drops you random items. And
My
then
God.
you use those by selling them to other people in the marketplace. And then they make money off the community market fee. That's interesting.
Context. The Steam game Banana has stirred controversy due to its simplistic gameplay and monetization mechanics.
Why does this sound like Alan Rickman? Why do I feel like I'm about to be told to turn to page 394?
Players merely click on a banana to earn in-game items that can be sold
I
on
love
the
this.
Steam community
This is great.
market. This model has led to accusations of exploiting players and encouraging a gambling-like environment. The game's popularity, driven by the allure of potentially valuable item drops, has sparked debate over its impact and legitimacy within the gaming community.
So, I guess when we look at a situation like this, the first thing that you have to ask is, why do people want to play this? And it becomes different when we talk about things like gambling, right? There are people, and I'm sure there's people that know people in their own lives, right? That you can't bring them within 300 feet of a casino. Or if they see, a crap table, if they see roulette, slots, you got to keep them away from it. Like, gambling addiction is definitely a thing. And I think people treat it a lot more seriously than other things, such as like video game addiction, things like compulsive spending, lesser to a degree, right? Lesser in terms of severity. However, gambling gets you in holes really quick. And I think that's why people are really kind of hyping on stuff like this, and things like loot boxes adjacent too, right? Things like that. So I can see why people would be upset with this. My first initial reaction is, why play it? But then again, I say that to, Destiny 2. Why play Destiny 2 if you don't like it, right? And I've fallen into those same traps. I've fallen into those addictive gameplay loops. Sometimes you just want to play it to play it. I'm curious to know more.
The thing that's most interesting about this is all of it is bullshit. And people are assigning value to these bananas.
Right.
And there's no value on the bananas.
It's crypto.
Whatsoever. Why is that $233? It's because
it's a sad hamster.
They don't even do anything. It's correct.
It's scarcity. It is perceived rarity and scarcity, right? If I were to show you a copy of Magic the Gathering Black Lotus, and I were to show you another thing, like, I don't know, Emrakul the Aeon's Torn or something like that, let's just talk Magic the Gathering for a second, right? Why is Black Lotus more expensive than Emrakul the Aeon's Torn? Why is an Alpha Dual Land, I think it's like what Bayou, stuff like that, right? Why are they more expensive than a standard foil island, right? Well, the standard foil island, it's got some foiling on it, right? Maybe extra stuff. It's because one, reserve list, right? Two, it was printed. Alpha was printed like 30 years ago almost now. And three, it's that scarcity, that rarity, supply and demand. People want it. There's not enough supply. Therefore, this affects the price of it. So what we have here is an environment, much like crypto, a lot of crypto, where it's not backed by anything, right? Well, why does this poop emoji token, why is this worth, $2.32 USD, right? Well, I mean, it's not backed by anything. There's no physical asset or security backing it, but we assign it to have this value because, we have this name supporting it and this name supporting it. And that's really what it kind of comes across to me as. And I look at this at face value and I go, I like it, but I like it because it's stupid. But I totally understand why people are jumping on this.
It's really weird.
I'm blocking him, my bad.
Yeah, basically what you're getting here is really interesting. So I've never seen a game monetized like this. This is quite clever.
It's interesting.
It's actually really clever. They're going to run into problems, though, because if you got shit like Sans Nana, right?
Yeah.
Not really the smartest move there. But the thing that's really interesting to me about this is there's a couple different ways to make money on Steam. Mm-hmm. One of them is people buy your game outright. Mm-hmm. One of them is through MTX. One of them is through like DLC, whatever the DLC is. And then I think that's pretty much the normal ones. But there's one more thing in there that a lot of people overlook, which is community market fee. Yeah, MTX is microtransactions. So you buy the game, you do microtransactions, you do DLC, or you do the community market fee.
I wonder if Payday 2, I wonder what their community market fee is like, because you have certain revolver skins, and you have certain skins in there that are like $2,000 on the Steam marketplace. It's wild how expensive some of those skins can get.
Every time you buy or sell an item from a video game, such as a trading card, there's a percentage of this that goes to the developer. What they've done is they've created a marketplace for a bunch of shitty bananas, and every time these trade hands, between one player and another player, they make a percentage of that money every single time on a free game. It's not crypto. It's not using blockchain.
No.
It's just an item collection game. It's really easy to draw parallels to NFTs, but they're not NFTs.
But it's not. No.
They're just weird Steam items. That's it. It's quite strange, but it's also kind of brilliant in a way because this is free and players will sell them to each other and the dev is making money off the community market fee. It's kind of weird.
I mean, it's one of those things. I'm looking at this. It's a free clicker game. You do choose to get into this environment. I guess you could argue that it's predatory. I guess you can argue that I can't even say dishonest because you're going to the Steam Market Board to get this. It's kind of like the Pokemon effect, right? If you see somebody, if you say play Fire Red, right? And your buddy just waltzes up and shows you, hey, I got this Starmie. Well, I want a Starmie. Can I get a Staryu? And I'll use a Water Stone on it, right? Something basic like that. It feels like the devs of this saw an opportunity with the Steam Marketplace. And I mean, this is nothing new, right? As I said in this video, look at some of those Payday 2 skins. Look at TF2 hats and stuff like that, right? Hat Simulator. And look at how much some of that stuff sells for on the Steam. What is it? The big one. Counter-Strike. I can't remember what some of the big skins are, but there are some Counter-Strike 2 skins that sell, or sorry, not Counter-Strike 2, Counter-Strike Go skins, CSGO skins, that sell for an absurd amount of money. And I mean, it feels like every time the Steam community market gets brought up, it's brought up in a negative light. At the end of the day, you're kind of choosing to engage with this. You're kind of choosing to buy this. And going back on my prior point with gambling addiction and stuff like that, I mean, really, if you're worried about gambling addiction, if you start, going into this, if you do want to go into this and you start to feel those things, I mean, you need to be reaching out for help. I don't necessarily see this as an issue. You could argue this is lazy potentially, but at the same time, I mean, I'm agreeing with Pirate Software here. This is actually kind of ingenious.
Weird. Estimates are $5,000 a day. I disagree with that entirely. I don't think it's going to be that high. I don't know where people are getting those types of estimates because community market fees generally are quite small, insanely so. Steam will make money off of it. The dev will make money off it, but $5,000 a day is very, very, very unlikely.
I would need to see a source.
Very unlikely. Yeah. Look at the author's Steam page. Go look it up. Is it weird? Is the author of this quite strange? Because I think this is weird. It's not something I would do. All of them go to the same thing. The author's Steam page just goes to this. If you go to just goes to here. He's been banned before on Steam?
In 2020, These Lions, a developer involved with Banana, was banned from Steam for taking part in what Valve considered to be a scam game called Run.
I don't think anything he's doing here is against TOS, though. The author also sells on the marketplace. Now that's interesting. If you're selling in your own marketplace, ooh.
I mean, at that point, you have to worry about knowing next to nothing about this situation other than what's presented, right? You have to worry about if the dev, if at least one of the author, someone high up, right? If they're trying to, get the bag with this, so to speak, proverbially, to play into that scarcity, even generate a new skin. I don't know how this works. However, looking into you have to question the authenticity, the legitimacy. I think that this is definitely something that, this is a footnote. Is it enough to really make a, we need to cancel this game, ban this game? No, not by any means, in my opinion. And I don't know. I mean, you'd have to point out in the TOS what exactly it's breaking. I don't know. Even this is the part of it, the part of the sequence that leads me into thinking, okay, I understand why people are calling this a scam, though. If I could just make a shitty Kip clicker game, right, and I could, this is a cat Kip, this is a chubby chibi dragon Kip, right, and I could, release those into the marketplace, but no one else had access to them. I mean, I could just be releasing those as DLC. You see how it just starts getting into that morally gray territory. It's not necessarily wrong, but it's questioned if it's right or not. But it also falls within TOS. And I mean, from the number of reactions that we... Rare fish Kip, right? The number of reactions, I mean, it's not a war crime the first time. The same logic applies here. If something like this is seen by Valve as not acceptable, they're quite literally the one platform that I would expect to have my back. From my own personal experience, and you can say that I'm biased in this, right? I don't like that being unable to uninstall WoW is locked behind having to agree to the new Blizzard EULA and TOS updates, right? I disagree with that. I don't like that I have to be online 24/7 for Epic, and it just kills your RAM, right? Trying an Origin, EA right now, where you have like EA Play, I think is the new one. Steam is one of those that, yes, I have a lot of time in it, but I feel that it has been the platform that has treated me the best, and that's why I'm biased towards Steam. If there's one platform that I would expect to jump on this, if there was any wrongdoing, it would be Steam. And even then, it's like, hey, this one got away, but if we start seeing an influx of this, especially if the influxes are doing things that are against TOS, we could see them crack down on this.
Banned for market manipulation. Ooh. Now that's interesting.
That's
I don't know. Man. That does become incredibly interesting because it comes down to, does Steam have a problem with that? He can create scarcity. I mean, yeah, every game developer can. Yeah. If I want to make scarcity inside of my video game, I totally can. Mm-hmm. The idea of having a a marketplace, a real money marketplace, you're always going to have the developer determining arbitrary scarcity.
Why is there Pokemon Gen 3, right? We were talking about that recently. Why are certain Pokemon harder to find, right? Or why are the legendary Pokemon, the roamers, Latios, Latios in, Gen 3, RSC, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, or the legendary dogs, Entei-Suicune, Raikou, or Entei-Suicune, Raikou. I don't know where I got Raikou from. It's like the coon from South Park, but Raikou. Somebody please, if there's an image of that, send that to me. But arbitrary scarcity is a thing. You want a item, say average item is like a +5 to strength, right, in a video game. You might want your item with +20 strength to maybe drop a little less or drop from specific sources. That part is not a problem. When we start talking about market manipulation, that's where people are definitely starting to, peak their eyebrows.
It's not new. I find this to be super strange, man. Super strange, but highly effective. Yeah, not something I would do. Weird that the industry has moved in that direction at all.
Honestly, I'm very curious to see where this is going to go, though. I'm very, very curious to see what happens. I'm very curious to see if we start seeing an influx of these clicker games doing the same thing that the banana game is doing, right? I'm very curious to see the lengths at which, this is going to evolve. And that being said, I'm probably reacting so far past this thing's prime. Maybe a decision's already happened. Maybe it's already been resolved, or maybe it's already escalated. So I think that the calls of market manipulation are definitely there. I think that looking at this from we might not need to be concerned about it yet, but this is something that we should be concerned about going forward, or at least use this as kind of a footnote on this is fine, but we need to be able to, see what's coming on down the pipeline. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you think this is blatant market manipulation? Do you know that there's something in Steam TOS that prevents this? Do you agree with developers in scarcity like he's explaining? If you haven't, by the way, go check out Pirate Software. I will link Pirate Software's channel as well as this clip channel, both in the description down below. As somebody that does, React content and somebody who's noticed a problem with people not sourcing things, I definitely want to do my best to not only be transformative and present you something, but to also give credit where it's due and make it as easy as possible for people to find the React content the original videos. So thank you for watching. Definitely appreciate it. See you in the next one.